morning and welcome to Vlogmas 15. My back is really painful, so I'm trying not to stand up too long. So yeah, it's just one of those days. So I've had 2 parcels arrive. One of them I think I know who it's from, but obviously I won't know till I undo it. And the other one is from the Stitchery, and it's the 12-day Advent, and you start that one on the 25th December for 12 days onwards. So I'm really excited about that one, because the Stitchery, their embroideries are so beautiful. So, and it'll be nice that I've still got Advent still from the 25th. Wally's on my lap and you're scratching at me. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's a boxing with a box, because if so, I'm not going to open it until the 25th. But I'm going to do a little Vlogmas on the 25th when I'm going to Abby's, and then that'll be it. But I will show you when I do another vlog, which will be, I might do one New Year's Eve, a short one, but I'll definitely be doing one New Year's Day because of Hook Run Hollow. So yeah, so you will get to see what I got from the box. So, and I'll also show you later if this is the person I think it's from. So let's get on to Advent. So the Cadbury one first, and number 50, I might have to lay it down again. Oh, curly whirly. So there we go. I've put a little bow, thought it'd be a bit festive, put a little bow on top of the sweet jar. Okay, so I'll put that in the jar. There's Fig. So let's do Burr Street. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is so pretty. I love the little speckles in it as well. Very pretty. So that was yesterday's. Look at those together. Beautiful. Really beautiful. So now the jigsaw. So that was yesterday's, and today's, where's it? Oh, there's the lid. There we go. Doing some carol singing. $15. There we go. So we'll do that a bit later. So now the Peter Rabbit. So here we are. And was that yesterday that Mrs. Cottontail, wasn't it? If I remember. Oh, I can't remember his name. But it looks like he's had his Christmas dinner already. Oh, what is his name? Okay, let's put him on the table. Anyone know if that's Mrs. Cottontail? And if you can tell me who this is. Okay, let's see. I think we need to make a little start round here. So let's get in some company, shall we? Who shall we have? Oh, I know. Jeremy Fisher. There we go. We can have a little convo. So I hope you're all okay, and I hope if you have got an advent that you're enjoying it. My plans today are, I think Gracie, because I'm on the arms now. Definitely my knitting, and not sure if I'm going to do some of the apron today. We'll see. But every day I want to do some cross stitch, so I would really like to do some cross stitch today. The knitting's coming on. I did some yesterday evening, and it's looking really pretty. It really is. There is another thing. I said to you, when I get to 400 subscribers, I was doing a giveaway on a cross stitch pattern. Well, I did show you before, I was going to give away the Halloween one, the shoe with the witch and the pumpkin scarecrow. But I changed because it's Christmas. I don't think it would be very tasteful to do that one, so that will be kept there side. But I've decided on giving this one as the giveaway. I think that's appropriate for Christmas time, and it was a lovely stitch, it really was, and I want someone else to be able to enjoy it. So this will be the 400 giveaway, and as I said, when we reach 500, Lindy's giving away her own dyed skein of yarn, which is lovely. But we'll pop the Halloween one in between. So yeah, this will be the 400 giveaway. So I will see you later for the last chapter of Miss Read. So see you later. Hello and welcome back. The things that I planned today, it just hasn't happened. The day's just gone so quickly. I want to show you, I had a beautiful parcel sent to me today, and it was who I thought it was, Sarah. Hi Sarah. And a card, you wait till you see this card. And I had another lovely card from Fran. Hi Fran. Yeah, I've received such beautiful cards, and thank you so much. So let's go on and do that first, shall we? So my back is, as the day's gone on, it's really hurt more. So I'll show you Fran's. So pretty, look at that. That is gorgeous, isn't it? So that's that one. Stand up there. So this came with the parcel that Sarah sent me. She made this. It's diamond painting, and I'm blown away. Actually, I had to ask her, did you make this? Because this could be bought from a luxury shop to me. But look at this. Isn't that beautiful? I've never had one like diamond painted card, never ever. And I love it. Amazing. Thank you, Sarah, so much. I love it. I really do love it. So let's show you what Sarah sent me. So first of all, on top was this lovely red tissue. Honestly, you wait to see this. A little tin box. And inside that tin box, look, isn't he adorable? And he's in his bed. So, he's just so cute. It's really cute. Let's take him out. Look how diddy. Look at that face. A cheeky little grin. And there's the bedding. Isn't that lovely? So adorable, honestly. She knows me well, does Sarah? I feel bad putting the lid back on him. Let's leave the lid off. Oh, I didn't see this inside. Let's read it. Little Pocket Bear. Some days we need a friend that we can hug and cuddle. I am here to let you know whenever you face any struggle, I will always be here. If all you need is a little cheer, I will be your cheerleader. Be brave, my dear. Isn't that, I didn't see that till now. Sarah, that is beautiful. Thank you. No, I'm not putting the lid back on. Don't want to suffocate Ted. It's so cute, honestly. And you're right, Rose. It's okay, I'm just showing things out the box. That's all. Okay, you silly Billy. You silly Billy. Yeah. Right, you gonna lay on my lap? Yeah? Yeah? Kiss, kiss. Mwah. Right, come on then. Good boy, good boy. You wait till you see these. Come on. Do you want to lay on there? Come on. Go on. Good boy. These fabrics are a delight. You right? Shall I move that for you? Do you know where to go, do you? There's no chocolate about. If that's what you're looking for, I see it. Evie wanted some chocolate out the jar, so did Mila Moo. So she had these, and this is what Wally can sniff. I'm going to put it in my pocket. That'll stop you. Okay. Look at this fabric. Isn't that beautiful? Look at Snoopy. I love Charlie Brown. Oh, it's just, the cartoons are just so adorable, really adorable. Look at this one. Isn't that beautiful? And this one. Look at that. Can you rolling up a snowball? Like probably a snowman. It's just gorgeous. And I said she knows me well. You know, anything Agatha Christie. I love Agatha Christie things. And the books, watching it on TV, Audible, on the cassette. I've got to say a couple of cassettes of Agatha Christie. Look. Oh, there's no words, is there? Amazing. And 1,000 pieces. When Mila was here, I was showing Abby, and she was blown away, Sarah, what you've sent me. And Mila saw the jigsaw. She goes, Nanny, 1,000 pieces. I said, I know. Honestly, how lovely is that? And she sent me some card making things which she won't be using, so she sent it to me, and it's lovely. Some of these things, not the same style, but I've had many years ago, and again, she knows me well. Wally, I'm going to put that packet in the bin. So I remember making cards with these, but different pictures. They came in a bag. I'll show you a few to look at that. Their faces are so cute. Beautiful, really beautiful. And there's another thing she sent me. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And these, oh. And there is loads. And obviously you have the same thing, because that's what builds up your decoupage. Look at this. Beautiful, really beautiful. And as I say, there's loads of them in the bag. How nice would this be on using some of this? Because I've got a box upstairs. I bought it from Hobbycraft. For the reason of putting a cross stitch on top. But I'm thinking about doing a decoupage on top of a lid box. How pretty would that be? These. Absolutely gorgeous. And you can see, so the lantern would go on there. You just build it up. You've got two of those to make that. But so much. This, oh. So it's a picture to make. All the instructions in that in the back. And the other piece of this is in the box. Art Deco. Oh. It's just so pretty. Look at that. So Sarah, honestly, thank you so much. There's just so much there. Really, really lovely of you. I'm just blown away with what you sent me, and the card must have took you forever, but thank you for making it for me. Thank you so much, my lovely. Really appreciate it. So, oh my word. These will be in my, Sarah gave me some Peter Rabbit Christmas fat quarters, a little pile. And I've told you before, I'll get these fabrics, you know, if I buy some and I like them and I don't want to cut them, and they're in my unit for a while before I build up the courage to actually cut the fabric. I don't know if anybody else is like that. But yeah, they'll be in my little wardrobe for a while, just for me to see them when I open the door. Oh, thank you, Sarah. So lovely of you. I've got to put yours and Fran's card up somewhere. We'll sort that out later. Come on. Oh, ready? Do you want to say hello? You want to say hello? Yeah, that's it. Good girl. Good girl. Let's have a little drink before we read. Careful. Okay, so last chapter. Christmas at Fairacre, Miss Reed, and it's no holly for Miss Quinn. Good girl, give me kisses. You want to come and lay here? You right? Okay, so where were we? She'd gone to see, it was now Boxing Day. She'd done a lot of cleaning in the house of Lovell's and his wife Eileen. A friend of Lovell's had come back with him when they went to this meet, and she went to see Eileen in the hospital, and Eileen said it wouldn't be long before she's coming home, hopefully. The weekend passed remarkably peacefully. Miriam felt more confident now that she was becoming accustomed to the routine of the household. I need to change my glasses. One great blessing was that all the family seemed to eat most of the things she had put before them. Although turkey in a mild cheese sauce was greeted by Jenny with the remark that she didn't like white gravy. However, her helping vanished, assisted no doubt by Hazel's offer to eat her share. The craze for two-ball persisted, and the two little girls spent any rainy free periods, which were few, bouncing and catching the balls against the wall of the kitchen garden, twirling and clapping as Miriam had shown them. I remember doing that when I was little. It seemed a good idea to drive into the market town on Saturday morning in the hope that a toy shop would be open. They were lucky enough to find a sports shop doing a brisk trade, with two girls buying skiing equipment and a scoutmaster buying camping stoves. A basket of rubber balls, red, blue, yellow and green, drew Hazel and Jenny like a magnet, and they ended up by selecting 2 red and 2 green. I think you should have 3 each, said Miriam. You ought to have a spare in case one gets lost. But can you afford it? Asked Hazel anxiously. After Christmas too. I think so, said Miriam. But you haven't got a husband to give you any money like Mummy, protested Jenny. Are you sure? I go to work, you know, so I earn some money. A lot? £1 a week? A little more than that, admitted Miriam. The girls sighed with relief. Then you're quite rich, aren't you? Smiled Hazel. Well, then, thank you very much, said Jenny, choosing a yellow one for her spare ball. You are kind as well as rich. The baker's shop was open next door, and Miriam bought fresh currant buns for tea and a veal and ham pie as a change for the turkey. You must be really rich, observed Hazel as they climbed into the car with their purchases. If you can buy a great big pie like that, Mummy always makes ours because they say they are so dear in the shops. Well, this is a treat, explained Miriam, and a time and energy saver for struggling aunt, she added to herself. She found time to ring Joan, who sounded busy and happy. Roger goes tomorrow. A friend is picking him up, and they are flying to Switzerland at 6 o'clock. Plenty of snow there, they say. None at Fairacre, I hope. Not yet, but it's cold enough. They exchanged news. Barbara and the family were off on Monday, and when could Joan hope to see Miriam? With luck, during next week, said Miriam. It depends if Eileen is allowed home and how strong she feels. Well, Holly Lodge is waiting for you, said Joan, so come as soon as you can. I can promise that, Miriam assured her. The girls continued, rising to their height on Sunday night. There were towers of fishing boats smashed at their moorings, and off large ships riding out the storm within sight of the Norfolk coast. At places the sea had flooded in the marshland, and great damage was reported from the seaside towns on the Norfolk and Suffolk coasts. Men spent the weekend filling sandbags to block the gaps in the sea wall where the violence of the high tide had breached it. At the vicarage, some tiles were blown from the roof and an ancient apple tree was toppled, its roots exposed to the children's horrified gaze, and its branches menacing a chicken house which was mercifully empty. For the first time, Miriam saw the children frightened that night. The house shuddered in the onslaught, and the banshee wowlings, which Miriam had thought belonged to the kitchen only, were increased to envelope the upstairs corridors. Miriam left a night light burning in a saucer of water to comfort the little girls. The tall shadows made by the brave little light took her back in an instant to her own childhood in such a bleak vicarage, and she kissed the little girls with extra warmth and sympathy. The 9 o'clock news was devoted largely to the havoc caused by the storm, related with the usual zest which the imparting of bad news is passed on. Shades of Mrs. Pringle, thought Miriam, watching a woman smugly explaining how she found her neighbour pinned beneath her own coal shed and describing with relish the extent of her injuries. That's enough of that, said Lovell, switching it off. If I know anything about it, it would have blown itself out within 24 hours. It was at 12 the next day that the telephone rang, and it was Eileen on the line, sounding highly jubilant. It looks as though I can come home tomorrow. Isn't it wonderful? Can Lovell fetch me in the afternoon? The doctor wants to see me in the morning, and it's really simpler if I have lunch here. Marvellous, cried Miriam. Let me call Lovell. He's in the garden, sawing the apple tree into logs. Any damage? Very little, Miriam told her, and the wind is dying nicely. Look out for the floods by the river, warned Eileen. The papers haven't arrived yet, and they say a lot of people have had to leave their houses in the low-lying part of the town. Poor things. Can you imagine anything worse than finding your carpets floating downstairs? Yes, floating carpets upstairs. Here's Lovell now, called Miriam, handing over the telephone to wind-blown brother. She could hear the excitement in his voice as she returned to the mound of washing which she was tackling. With any luck, she thought it would be dry and iron before the mistress of the house returned, and tomorrow morning she must go foraging for food again. That afternoon, when she and the children returned from a windy walk, they found Annie on the doorstep. The children rushed to greet her. Robin put his arms up round her waist and kissed the fourth button of her raincoat rapturously. How lovely to see you, cried Miriam. Come in and tell me what you usually do. Well, said Annie, I help to get tea, and then I bath Robin, and then I do anything Mrs. Queen wants, ironing usually or a bit of mending, and then I help put Jenny and Hazel to bed, and then I go home. She was a thick-set, cheerful girl with long straight hair tied in a ponytail, and the brightest dark eyes which Miriam had ever seen. "That sounds wonderful," said Miriam. "Let's get tea together now, and I'll start the ironing while you put Robin to bed later on." And my mum said, "As it's school holidays and Mrs. Quinn's been took bad, I can come most of the day just when it helps. I could do shopping at that and take the children out for their walk. Just what's best." "You are an angel," said Miriam fervently. "I'll speak to Mr. Quinn and when he comes in, and we'll arrange something." Tea was taken at the kitchen table, and Miriam could see how competent and calm the young girl was with her charges, and how much they adored her. It was a noisy meal, with constant interruptions to fetch new toys to be admired. No doubt about it, thought Miriam, Annie was a treasure. Miriam heard Lovell come in and hurried into the sitting room to tell him the good news. "God bless Annie," he said sincerely. "For this week anyway. It would seem perfect if she came, say at 11, and had coffee with us, and stayed the rest of the day up to the children's bedtime, if her mother is agreeable." "Go and have a word with her," suggested Miriam, and so to everyone's relief and joy, matters were arranged. Annie's addition to the household was certainly a blessing, as Miriam soon discovered. By the time she arrived on Tuesday morning, Miriam had put Eileen and Lovell's bedrooms to rights, had changed sheets, put out fresh soap and towels, and even found a few sprigs of yellow winter jasmine to put in a little vase by Eileen's bed. Annie departed towards the village after her coffee with a long shopping list, 3 baskets, and the children. Copper decided to accompany them too, and for the first time Miriam found herself the only living thing in the house. Lovell was out visiting sick parishioners. It was bliss to have the kitchen to herself, and to be able to follow a train of thought without urgent infant demands for attention. She prepared lunch and even made a large batch of shortbread, which, with any luck, could be stored in a tin for future use when she herself had gone back to Fairacre. She had purposely made no firm plans for her return. It all depended on Eileen, but secretly she longed to get back within the next few days, to finish her sitting room and to be ready for the office on the following Monday. Her meditations were soon interrupted by the return of Annie and her charges, and the necessity of storing away shopping and setting the table for lunch. "Why can't we go with Daddy to fetch Mummy?" complained Hazel. "Because it will be much nicer to get things ready for her here," said Miriam firmly. "You can put a hot water bottle in her bed in case she feels tired, and Jenny can get the tea tray ready." They looked doubtful about these arrangements, but fell in with the plans without argument. On such a joyous occasion, fighting seemed out of place. As if to add to the general air of festivity, the sun had come out and the wind was less violent, although strong enough to send great galleons of white clouds scudding across the blue sky. On the wide Norfolk fields below, the clouds chased each other across the hedges and ditches, so that the countryside was alternately lit with golden sunshine and deepest shadow. The change in the weather brought out a refreshment of spirit, and when at Lovell's car drew up at the front door and Eileen emerged with arms outstretched, the family burst from the front door with cries of excitement. "Do you want to go to bed?" demanded Hazel, when their mother was at last sitting by the fire. "Heavens, no!" cried Eileen. "Why?" "Because I've put in a bottle for you." "That's very kind, but it will do beautifully for later on." "Have some tea," urged Jenny, anxious to display her preparations. "Not at 3, darling," said her mother. "Just let me sit and look at you all and the house. It's so marvellous to be back, and how clean everything looks." Miriam was amused to find herself as gratified with this last compliment as she was when Barney gave her a rare pat on the back for some meticulously arranged conference, or for some particularly diplomatic handling of a difficult client. It was good to see the family united again, and to see too how much Annie was included in the general reunion. Eileen was generally touched at the girls' offer to help while she was on holiday, and when at last the young people went off in her charge, Eileen spoke of her to Miriam. She's absolutely splendid with children. We hope she'll be able to take up nursery training. It's what she wants to do, and Lovell and I are going to do all we can to persuade her mother to let her. She's about the most unselfish person I've ever met. Next to you, I should say. Not me, protested Miriam. I'm horribly selfish. All I think about is my own affairs. Then the virtue is all the greater when you put them aside so readily to come out into our aid, said Eileen firmly. Later that evening, when the children were abed and Annie had departed, the three sat by the fire in amicable drowsiness. Are you sure you wouldn't sooner be in bed? Asked Miriam. No, it's bliss to be here, and honestly, I feel better, if anything, than I went in. The diet's helped a lot, and all I need now is a little exercise to get my legs less wobbly. You look more relaxed, agreed Lovell, but I shouldn't venture out for a day or two. After that hot house of hospital, you'll find the vicarage garden pretty chilly. Pottering round the house will suit me, said Eileen, and I hope Miriam will stay on now for a holiday instead of being a hard-working housekeeper, and let me look after her for a change. I'll stay as long as I'm needed, said Miriam, but let's see how you feel tomorrow morning before we make plans. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself here. It's been a break, but, broke in Eileen, you have your own affairs to see to, and we've trespassed on your precious free time already. Honestly, my darling Miriam, I am perfectly recovered, and I think next week's checkup will be the last that's needed. So if you want to go ahead with your own plans, please feel free. Well, said Miriam, weakening in the face of this reasoning, let's decide tomorrow morning. If all is well, perhaps I could go on Thursday, now that Annie's here. Even if Annie weren't here, we could manage, I feel sure. Lovell can be here pretty well non-stop until Sunday, and the girls are quite big enough to help now. At that moment, the telephone rang, and Lovell went to answer it. He returned to say, It's for you, Miriam. It's Martin on the telephone. Look, Miriam, said Martin, this Welsh trip has cropped up sooner than I thought. The dealer has some good cattle at the moment, and I propose going down on Saturday and coming back on Sunday. Can we meet? Miriam thought quickly. What about Sunday lunch with me? Something pretty simple, as I'm in the throes of decorating and the paint may still be wet. But, no, I insist on taking you out to lunch. But Sunday will be fine for me. Do you know somewhere? I'll book a table in Caxley, said Miriam. Shall we say 12:30 at the Bull? It's just off the Market Square. Lovely, said Martin. Now we've found each other again, it will be good to catch up with old times. Yes, indeed, said Miriam politely, but she wished she had said, now we've met each other again, instead of found each other, which sounded uncomfortably intimate to one of her temperament. Martin's coming my way next weekend, she said, returning to the fireside, and taking me out to lunch. Well, he hasn't lost much time, said Lovell, with a satisfaction which his sister found distasteful in the circumstances, but she forbore to retort. Next morning, to her surprise, she found that Eileen was in the kitchen before her and was busy frying bacon and eggs for the family. She smiled at Miriam's astonishment. This is just to show you how fit I am, and I feel a positive fraud being treated as an invalid. How did you sleep? Like a top. Woke up an hour ago feeling I could mow the lawn, walk to Norwich, and eat a couple of horses. Wonderful, you've certainly recovered. She began to cut bread ready to toast. It was good to see Eileen in command again. So, Miriam, dear, don't linger here on our behalf if you really want to get back. I couldn't help overhearing your remark to Martin that you're in the midst of decorating. You are an absolute marvel to have dropped everything. paintbrushes included, to come all this way. She put down the fork with which she was turning the bacon and came to put her arms around Miriam. This isn't speeding the parting guest. I'd like you to stay, you know, but if you can't now, then come very soon for a real holiday. But if you feel happy about getting back, please believe me when I say we can really manage now, and we will never forget your kindness when we were in trouble. Miriam hugged her affectionately. If you're quite sure, then I might even push off later this morning. The weather seems more settled, and if Annie turns up as usual, I'd feel quite happy about leaving you with that stout support. And so it fell out that at 11:30, with her case in the car, sandwiches cut by Eileen, a flask filled by Annie, and a posy of mixed winter flowers collected by the children, Miriam was ready to start on her long journey. All the family, including Annie, were on the doorstep to wave goodbye. Their embraces had been unusually warm and loving, and Miriam was astonished to realise how sad she felt about parting. To think just over a week ago she had arrived in a mood of stern duty. Now it was as much as she could to keep back the tears as she drove away. Don't forget you're coming at Easter, shouted Hazel. Before, if you can, added Eileen. 1,000 thanks, called Lovell. I shall be writing. She hooted all the way down the drive in reply to their valedictions, and had to fumble for a handkerchief when she was safely out of their sight. The floods were out between St Neots and Bedford, and traffic was diverted round narrow lanes bordering waterlogged fields. At Newport Pagnell there was more floods, but the sky was clear and the wind had dropped to a gentle breeze, and Miriam pushed on steadily. There was plenty of time now for uninterrupted thought. A lot of good had come from this week's visit. She had learnt to know Eileen better and to appreciate the strength of character that lay behind the babyish good looks. She remembered her gaiety and courage into the face of death at the hospital, her honest gratitude for help given, and now she began to see why Lovell loved her so much. It made her own feeling towards her brother much more comfortable. If Lovell were happy, then she was happy too. It was as simple as that. Now much greater now was her bond with the children. They were all of them, Lovell, Eileen and she herself, much closer because of this adversity. She felt better for having gone. It had jolted her out of her own selfish rut, and a good thing too, she told herself. Cast your bread upon the waters, she remembered. Well, she certainly received a bountiful return. It was dark when she arrived at Holly Lodge, and Joan was out, probably having a New Year's Eve drink with friends in Fairacre, thought Miriam, suddenly remembering the date. She put away the car and carried her things indoors. The pleasant smell of new paint greeted her. She breathed it in rapture. Here she was at last, at home and alone, ready for all that might befall in the new year. What would it hold for her? She remembered Martin and was warmed by the thought of his friendship, which might grow, who knew, into something dearer. Well, it was nice to be wanted. Lovell and his family had proved that, but not for always, thought Miriam, looking for a vase for her Norfolk nosegay. She was glad to have met Martin again, glad to know she would see him soon, and glad to know that the bond of her family was much more closely knit. But this was where she was happiest, for her spinsterhood was truly blessed. She walked into her empty sitting room and closed the door behind her, the better to relish that sweet solitude to which her was the breath of life. A vision of the vicarage rose before her, the paper chains, the expanded fans and bells, the tinsel, the mistletoe, the holly. Here there was no holly for Miss Quinn, but she felt a glow as warm as its red berries at the joy of being home, a joy which she knew would remain evergreen in the years which lay ahead. The end. I really hope that you've enjoyed the story. I apologise for bloops that I've made with words all the way along, but that's me. So that's it. I will see you in the morning before all starts happening later tomorrow afternoon. So for now, take care. Thank you for watching. Bye.